So, welcome to FIBSc class. I am Dr. Saroj Hole. So, today I am going to teach you second paper in FIBSc, that is Analog and Digital Device Application, in which there are 4 units: op-amp, data converters, and op-amp applications. So, op-amp was what is op-amp? It is an operational amplifier. So George Philbrick background was industrial process control, experience with fire control system during World War II. Lead Philbrick to manufacture analog computing components. So the op-amp was invented in the 40s. Bell Labs filed a patent in 1941, and many consider the first practical op-amp to be the vacuum tube, invented in 1952. So op-amp is a very applicable IC. The op-amp is a voltage amplifier usually consisting of one or more differential amplifiers and usually followed by the level transistors and an output stage. So the input stage is a differential amplifier which determines the input characteristic of op-amp. So in most op-amp, the output is single-ended. It is also available in the form of IC package. So what is the definition of op-amp? Op-amp is a versatile device that can be used to amplify DC as well as AC input signals, which performs various mathematical operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, integration, and differentiation. Thus, the name operational amplifier was stemmed from its original use for these mathematical operations and is abbreviated to op-amp. So, operational amplifier are some of the most basic active components in analog systems. If I connect the op-amp with different resistor, capacitor, transistor, it can be used for variety of applications such as waveform generator, oscillator, active filter, comparator, regulator, and other interesting circuits. Now, op-amps are also used for analog computation, and although techniques are being superseded by digital methods in computer engineering, the range of applications for op-amp in instrumentation and control systems are rapidly expanding. Now, what is basic and ideal op-amp? So, the op-amp is a DC coupled high gain electronic voltage amplifier with a differential input and usually a single ended output. So, what are the properties of op-amp? Basic and ideal op-amp has infinite gain. So, the output depends on input and the feedback. Also, it has infinite input impedance. It has input bandwidth up to infinity. It also can amplify the DC. Then zero output impedance. Also, it has zero voltage and current offset, which means when the input is 0, output will be 0. So practical op-amp voltage gain is more than 2 lakhs. Input impedance is greater than 1 megaohm and bandwidth is greater than 1 megahertz. Now what is the block diagram of op-amp? It consists of an input stage, intermediate stage, level shifting stage, and class B push-pull amplifier. So input stage, so all these stages amplifies the signal which comes at the input of a op-amp. So this is the actual internal circuit of a op-amp. It consists of a Darlington pair in gain stage. Impedance also, this stage steps up the impedance level to avoid loading from differential amplifier. And output stage is class B push-pull emitter follower. So this is the internal circuit of op-amp. And this is the symbol and equivalent circuit of op-amp. And this is schematic symbol and equivalent circuit of op-amp. Okay. Now, op-amp has non-inverting and inverting input terminal. They are marked as plus and minus signs. Okay. So the plus signal is input, non-inverting input to an AC signal applied to the input produces the in-phase signal at the output. On the other hand, if I apply the input at the inverting input, because of the AC signal applied to this input process, the 180-degree out of phase, that is opposite polarity signal, comes at the output. Ideally, this symbol means that the amplifier has infinite voltage gain, infinite input impedance and zero output impedance. Okay. Now what is the practical characteristic of op-amp? Now in ideal characteristic op-amp, this is a op-amp circuit. Input offset current, input bias current. These are the various characteristics of op-amp. Input offset current drift, input offset voltage drift, input common mode range, input differential mode range, input resistance, output offset voltage, output voltage range, full power bandwidth, output resistance, input impedance and output impedance. Then power supply rejection ratio, PSRR, and common mode rejection ratio, CMRR, is AD upon AC. Then slew rate, that is ratio of output voltage change with respect to time. So these are the characteristics, its symbol and the ideal values are given in this table. Okay. Now we will see the practical op-amp characteristics. In practical op-amp characteristics, you just see this is the practical op-amp circuit. Okay. Again, the input impedance is in the range of 1 megaohm, output impedance is 1 or 2 ohm, open loop gain is range of several thousands, input offset voltage is non-zero, small zero voltage up to very small voltage. So to make when the input is 0, output should be 0. Now sometimes it comes in very small millivolt range. So if you to make this output voltage 0, a small voltage in the range of millivolt is required to be applied to one of its input terminals. So such voltage makes the output 0. So this DC voltage which makes the output voltage 0 when other terminal is grounded is called as input offset voltage. Okay. Now input bias current. So it is IB is equal to IB1 plus IB2 upon 2. Then input offset current, slew rate, power supply rejection ratio. So these are the ideal values of ideal and practical parameters of IC 741. So open loop gain is 2 lakhs. Output impedance is 75 ohm. Input impedance is 2 mega ohm. Input offset current is 29 ampere. Input offset voltage is 2 millivolt. Bandwidth is 1 megahertz. CMRR is 90 dB. Slew rate is 0.5 volts per microsecond. Input bias current is 80 nanoampere. Power supply rejection ratio is 30 microvolt per volt. And power consumption is 50 millivolts. Okay. So these are the standard values. Now what is the concept of negative feedback? So the utility of op-amp increases considerably if it is used in a closed loop mode with feedback. So the feedback allows to feed some fraction of output back to the input in linear applications. So the op-amp is always used with negative feedback. So the feedback helps to control the gain which otherwise driven op-amp into saturation. So here you just see the feedback resistor RF is connected from output to input side. So this is known as a negative feedback. And RF is known as a feedback resistor. The feedback is said to be negative as the resistor RF is connected from output to the inverting input terminal. When this resistor is connected to the positive or non-inverting terminal, it will be positive feedback. So the gain with feedback is called as closed loop gain because if the signal voltage is connected directly to the input terminal of amplifier. Now due to the feedback resistor there is a reduction in the gain. Due to this reduced gain the output is not driven into saturation and the circuit behaves as a linear manner. Now basically there are two ways to express the circuit: inverting amplifier configuration and non-inverting configuration. In both the circuit signal feedback is proportional to the output voltage feedback and takes place via resistor RF. Okay, so the phase inversion through the amplifier ensures that the feedback is negative. In inverting circuit, the feedback signal is effectively applied in shunt with the external input signal, whereas in non-inverting amplifier, input signal and feedback are in series. Okay, so this is the inverting mode of amplifier, op-amp in inverting mode. And what is inverting and non-inverting configuration? So that we will see in next video. So ideal op-amp has infinite input impedance. No current can flow into either input terminals of op-amp, so that any current arriving at point A flows through the feedback path RF. Okay. So when negative feedback is applied to the ideal amplifier, the differential input voltage approaches the zero. So the signal feedback will be in opposition to the voltage at point A and will be forced towards zero. So today we will stop here. In next lecture we will see the inverting and non-inverting configuration and how it works. Okay, thank you.